Hello, welcome back to my channel. As we are in the series of strategic management, we are going towards the next chapter, which is one of the very utmost important chapters, as we are going to deal with various portfolio decision making. And this chapter is a must before going to examination. It is the chapter number 2, which is the dynamics of competitive strategy, where we are going to deal in how corporate levels ensure that it's going to beat their competitors by using various competitive strategies to ensure that they gain core competencies and competitive advantage to attract more customers. Okay, let me explain what I just said. There are corporate level managers. Corporate level. These corporate level managers are with the task, as we have learned in the introduction, the chapter number 1, Introduction to Strategic Management. Corporate level managers ensure that they create all the strategies for the organization, for the organization as a whole. They are with the task of creating a a competitive strategy competitive strategy. Corporate level managers needs to ensure that they create a competitive strategy for the competitors in the market. To identify such competitors, how to beat them, we are going to further study the various competitive strategies that are adopted by corporate level managers. So the competitive strategies are made so that the firm can enjoy the benefit of core competencies. Now, this is the word core competence. Competence. There is a difference between the word core competence and competitive advantage. Core competence refers to the unique strength that the organization have over its rival, the internal capabilities that the organization has, which is uses to gain competitive advantage, is core competency. So what is core competency? A unique strength that the organization have over its rival. The organization uses its internal capabilities to gain competitive advantage is core competence. So what we want from core competencies, the company needs to gain competitive advantage. What is competitive advantage? It is the benefit, the advantage that the firm has over its rival, the advantage that it gains over its rival. It is said that if you do not have advantage, competitive advantage, do not compete. It is given by John Welch. The competitive advantage is the unique advantage, the advantage that the company enjoys in the long run. Ensure that it's competitive advantage which it gains in long run, so it can attract more customers and it has more profitability than the overall industry's profitability. When it has more profitability than the overall industry's profitability, it is said that the firm has a competitive advantage. So this competitive advantage is used by the firm to attract more customers, to attract customers. So what is a competitive strategy? A competitive strategy is a strategy laid down by the corporate level managers. Laid down by whom? Laid down by corporate level managers to ensure that they gain both things, core competence and competitive advantage in the industry, and to gain and to attract customer, the company uses competitive strategy to gain core competence and competitive advantage, which it uses to attract more customers. Since we gain more customer, the firm will have more profitability. Since the firm has more profitability, it will enjoy competitive advantage. It will have long lasting effect on the survival and growth of the industry. So the question arises that how corporate level managers create such competitive strategy. Well, corporate level managers analysis. Through analysis of what? There are various analysis tools given in the strategic management, what we are learning. There are various analysis tools. One of them is business environment analysis. The corporate level managers analyzes the business environment, the environment in which the industry is operating. It analyzes the business environment by using data. They can use various techniques, various surveys, and gain data which will act as a base. This data act as a base through various surveys, through various techniques. The organization can gain data from its customers and use such data to create, use all of these to create competitive strategy. So corporate level managers, they frame competitive strategies to gain core competence and competitive advantage. They use this core competence and competitive advantage to attract more customer and beat their competitors. They uses the corporate level managers uses various analysis techniques and tools. They uses business environment analysis. They analyze the whole environment, and through that environment analysis they gain data. This data can be actual or factual. By both the data, this data acts as a base in taking decisions, and from this data they create a competitive strategy to beat their customer. So this is the competitive strategy which we are going to deal in this chapter, the chapter number 2, which is competitive strategy. So what is a competitive strategy? A competitive strategy, what is a competitive strategy? A competitive strategy is defined as a long-term plan of a particular company. In order to gain competitive advantage, they need to gain competitive advantage over its rivals in the industry, over its competitors in the industry. What is a competitive strategy? A competitive strategy refers to the competitive advantage that it gains over its rival in the industry. Competitive advantage. An organization must identify its position relative to the competitors in the market. Competitive strategy generates competitive advantage. Very, 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 very important. Competitive strategies, these strategies are aimed for what? It is aimed to gain competitive advantage, increase the loyalty of the customers, and beat the competition. These are the objectives of competitive strategy. We can also say these are the objectives. These are the objectives of competitive strategy. What are the objectives of competitive strategy? First, to gain competitive advantage. Next, to increase the loyalty of customers. And third, to beat the competition. The objectives of competitive strategy. Another question is, a competitive strategy consists of what? What consists in competitive strategy? What are the components? So first, it aims at attracting customers, attract the customer, withstand competitive pressure, and strengthen an organization market position. So we can connect the both question, the objectives of competitive strategy, and what strategy consists of. So we need competitive advantage. We need competitive advantage. How we will get competitive advantage? When we will strengthen our market position. When we will strengthen our market position, we will gain competitive advantage. So increase the loyalty of customer. When we increase the loyalty of customer, we will attract more customers towards the organization. To beating the competition, we need to withstand the competitive pressure. So the both question are somehow related, and the points are quite similar. There are customers whom we need to attract. They are loyal customers. We need to attract such customer, and they will be loyal to the organization. By withstanding the competitive pressure, we will try to beat the competition, and to strengthen an organization market position, we will gain competitive advantage. So remember this one answer, and you can use it in both the ways. What are the objectives? Attract customer, to gain loyalty of such customer, gain loyalty, withstand competitive pressure, to beat them, and strengthen an organization position to gain advantage, competitive advantage. So these are the objectives. These are the objectives, and these are the what strategic competitive strategy consists of. Having a competitive advantage is necessary for an organization to compete in the market. With the aid of competitive strategy, the organization can use it to gain competitive advantage and to beat the competitors. So we are further moving on to another important question, our concept, which is competitive landscape. Competitive landscape. What is a competitive landscape? This question has been asked recently in June 21 examination. In the examination of CA Inter new syllabus, this question has recently been asked, and CA ICAI can create more and more case study based questions, case study based approaches to tackle such small concepts and frame it in a case study manner. So it's very important to understand this concepts. Competitive landscape. What is a competitive landscape? A competitive landscape refers to a process or method. It is a process or method of what? Of first identifying the competitors, identify competitors, identify competitors to help comprehend their mission, vision, core values, niche market, strength, and weakness. So, what is competitive landscape? Competitive landscape is a process or method of identifying competitors to help comprehend their mission, vision, core values, niche market, strength, and weaknesses. How we are going to do this? We are going to do this with the help of competitive intelligence. So, what is competitive intelligence? Competitive intelligence is required to understand competitors. When we understand competitive landscape, the cognitive facility of mind and information input involved here is referred to as competitive intelligence. Basically, what is competitive intelligence? When strategic corporate level managers uses mind, of course, intellectual processes, and all the information which they have collected. Remember my diagram? They uses data. They uses information. They collect such information. They analyze such information. Mind here refers to as analysis. Information refers to as collection of data. They uses the environmental analysis. So competitive intelligence is the integration of two things, mind and the information input which we collected, which the organization has collected, and it is called as competitive intelligence. So competitive intelligence is required to be used to understand the competitive landscape. Okay, what is competitive landscape? Repeat after me. Competitive landscape is a process or a method where we identify competitors. What we do? We identify competitors. To understand the competitors' mission, vision, core values, niche market, strength and weaknesses, and use it to create competitive strategy so that we can beat them. Use it to create competitive strategy. Use it to create competitive strategy. So the steps involved to understanding the competitive landscape as given in the diagram. The first step is to identify the competitors. We identify the competitors in the firm's industry and have actual data about their respective market share. We identify competitors based on the share market share they are holding market share we are holding. This answers the question, who are the competitors? It answers the question regarding who are the competitors. So step one is identify the competitors by their market share, which answers the question, who are the competitors? The second step involved in understanding in competitive landscape is understanding the competitors. Once the competitors has been identified, the strategist uses market research reports, internet, newspapers, social media, any place where we can get information regarding our competitors and use such information through analyze the competitors and create a strategy to beat them. So we understand the competitors by reading journals, newspapers from various external sources, from various external source, from various external sources, which answers the question, what are the products and services that the competitors are dealing in. So a thorough understanding of the competitors is through understanding the products, the services which are offered by the competitors. The next step involved in a strategic landscape is determine the strength of the competitor. So after identifying the competitors, understanding them, we identify their strength. We identify their strength, and it can be done through asking various questions like what is their financial position, what is their financial position in the market, does they gain cost and price advantage, what are they likely to do next, how strong is their distribution network can be an example of competitive advantage if they have a good distribution channel spread around through the market. What are the human resource strength? So through asking various questions like financial position, human resource, distribution channels, we understand the strength enjoyed by the competitors. Then we understand what are the weaknesses of our competitors. First, we understand the strengths which are gained by the competitors. Then we understand the various weaknesses of the competitors. We identify by going through consumer report and reviews in various media. So by reading through reviews in various applications or the sites or on various sources, we can find out various weaknesses of our competitors. Consumers are often willing to give their opinions, especially when the product or service are great or very poor. Of course, there is a reaction of consumer towards the competitor in the form of review, and uh, organization can use this to determine the weaknesses of the competitors. And the last step is to put all the information together. We need to put all the information together in a piece of paper, that is the landscape, and we will jot down everything. We will put together what information. We will put together the competitors which we have identified. We will understand the competitors through various external sources, which answers the question, what are the products and service. We will determine the strength, like they have financial position, performance, their human resource skill, distribution channel. We will determine the weakness of our competitors through various customer reviews, and we will put all such information together, and this is called as competitive landscape. And these are the steps involved in competitive landscape: identify them, understand them, strength, weakness, and put the information together. So we are going towards the next topic, which is strategic analysis. Remember, in our diagram, corporate level managers uses analysis of business environment to gain information. So which analysis does the corporate level managers do? A proper diagnosis of company situation is necessary. We need to correctly diagnose the situation for managerial preparation by corporate level managers for deciding on a sound long term direction, setting appropriate objective, crafting a winning strategy. So this analysis tool is done to create a sound strategy, sound strategy, a sound strategy. As we have learned, a strategy cannot be based on only intuition by management. It must be based on some actual factual information data on a proper analysis. So we do strategy analysis. The analytical sequence is from strategic appraisal of the external and internal situations, evaluating alternatives to choice of strategy. So the analytical sequence is, we do strategic appraisal. We will first create a form a strategy. We will appraise it. We will evaluate it. We will use the external internal situation to create such strategy appraisals. Then we will choose all the alternatives and will decide the best course of action, best alternative to be adopted by the organization, which will give them utmost benefit. We will choose such decision. Two most important situational consideration are the two most situational consideration for analyzing for strategic analysis is the industry and competitive conditions. These are the external factors, the industry and the competitive condition which are outside the environment, and the organization own capabilities. These are the internal resources. So these are the external factors, the industry and the competitive condition exist, and these are the internal factors. This strategic analysis may be sounding exactly like or in relation to like SWOT analysis. If you may have heard, SWOT analysis refers to strength, weakness, opportunity, and threat. We also do it for internal, external analysis. But kindly do not use the word SWOT analysis in the paper when strategic analysis has been asked in the examination. Kindly refrain yourself. Kindly do not use such words. We need to use externally. We analyze the industry and competitive condition, and internally we uses the competitive capabilities exist in the company, in the organization. Well, maybe that's all for today. Let's give a quick revision of what topics we have learned today. We have started with the chapter 2, dynamics of competitive strategy. We have first understand the competitive strategy. The competitive strategies, the corporate level managers create competitive strategies. They use core competencies and competitive advantages to attract the customer, which in turn will beat the competition, will reduce the competition and gain competitive advantage and success and growth and achieve its various objectives. How the corporate level do? Corporate level uses strategic analysis. They use strategic analysis. They analyze the business environment, the internal and external factors, the internal industry and the competitors in the environment, and external the industry and competitors, and internal the capabilities of the organization. They use various data, and based on the data they create competitive strategy. Such competitive strategy is being used so that the organization can gain competitive advantages, increase the loyalty of customers and beat competitors. These are the objective. A competitive strategy consists of attracting the customer. By attracting the customer, we will gain loyalty of those customers. By withstanding competitive pressure, we can beat such competitors. By strengthening our organization market position, we can gain competitive advantage in the market. So this was the competitive strategy. What is competitive landscape? Competitive landscape refers to as a process or method of identifying competitors. It can be direct competitors or directly or indirectly, to help comprehend their mission, vision, core values, niche market strength and weaknesses, to gain competitive, to formulate a competitive strategy. Competitive intelligence is used for competitive landscape. Competitive intelligence means the cognitive facility of mind and information input involved here. Next, we went to the various steps in understanding the landscape. These steps are: identify, understand strength, weakness, and put the information. Identify the competitors through the market share and who are the competitors. Understand the competitor through external sources. What are the products or services they are dealing in? Determine the strength of the competitors, like, for example, the financial performance, position, human resource skills, the distribution channels that they enjoy. Determine the weakness of the competitors through various customer reviews, information of customer, and then put all the information together and find and create a competitive strategy. What is strategic analysis? Kindly do not use the word SWOT analysis. Then the question is specific to strategic analysis. Strategic analysis is necessary for managerial preparation for creating a strategy. It is the analytical sequence of strategic appraisal of external internal situations. We uses the external internal situations, and then we create alternatives, and then we select the best alternative as a strategy. The two most situational considerations are externally industries and competitive conditions, and internally the competitive capabilities. Okay, we have just begun the chapter number 2. The chapter number 2 is a very long chapter, so make sure we'll deal each and every concept clearly. So for today, that's all for today. Happy learning. Keep on studying. Keep on learning. Bye bye.